As the old baseball saying goes, you can teach many things, but you can't teach speed. The Royals drafted Jarrod Dyson in the final round 4 years ago, and after sprinting his way to the big leagues, he's still running, both in the field and on the bases. It's Dyson and the Royals against the Rays again tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City. Bruce Chen has been a bright spot in a disappointing season for the Royals. He will make his final start, going for his 12th win tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And Bruce Chen has been the feel-good story, at least one of the biggest feel-good stories for the Royals this year, and that goes back to the end of May when he joined the starting rotation. The most recent feel-good story for the Royals goes back to September the 6th when Jarrod Dyson was called up.
And Ryan, you really just can't help but pull for Jarrod Dyson. I mean, this guy's a 50th-round draft choice, and he comes in here and he shows you what this team's been missing for a long time: speed. And when you have speed just takes you the defense right out of position. On the offensive side, it really helps the pitcher.
Made 2 game-saving catches for the Royals last night. And with Bruce Chen on the mound tonight, Bruce, of course, not a strikeout-type pitcher, so he needs help from his defense. So we'll see if Dyson has a big play for him tonight. We'll take a look at tonight's Kia report.
But these are things that Bruce has done this year to be successful, Ryan. He kept the ball down, getting ahead in the count, working fast, and does a great job of mixing up his pitches from the different arm angles.
Well, here we are at the end of the season, so it means it's time to complete the list. This is our final telecast of the year on Fox Sports Kansas City, and we're going to get down to the final 4 when we come back. Motors. To learn more, visit Kia.com. By Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. And by the Missouri Lottery. If you've been with us the last 2 years, every time we see a major leaguer against the Royals taking less than a major league swing, we say, put it on the list. Well, we're down to our final 4, which consists of 3 rounds and a wild card. So let's go back to round number 1, and we'll show you who those 3 finalists are. And I took Mike Lowell with this swing, shattered bat. Frank took Casey Kochman then with the Mariners. And we agreed on the Grady Sizemore swing. Round 2.
Round 2, Ryan. When you look at round 2, now this is mine. This is Joey Votto. I really liked the way he was pulling on this one, and we both agreed on Yadier Molina on throwing his bat at the ball, and then you took Alex Rios.
And then last night we got to the 3rd part of the season, and I took Vladimir Guerrero with this sort of swing. Frank took Delman Young, mixed up by Dusty Hughes, and we agreed on Coco Cripps. So we turn this over to the truck, our production crew, and here are the finalists, the final 4. It's going to be Grady Sizemore, Yadier Molina, doing whatever he can to try and make contact and coming up empty. Vladimir Guerrero getting jammed and then smiling. And the wild card, because of the baseball playoffs these days, goes to Joey Votto. Now, you, the fans, tonight in our final telecast, American Idol style, will vote for the winner during the sprint, you call it. Keila Kaihue had 3 home runs in the last 2 games against Minnesota, and he picked up from there last night, driving in 2 runs for the Royals in their 1-run victory over the Rays. Royals and the Rays, and the first pitch is next. To you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Here's the Rays lineup tonight against Bruce Chen, presented by M&I Bank, and all kinds of changes. B.J. Upton will lead off. Jason Bartlett will bat second. Upton hit 7th last night. Bartlett hit 9th. Willie Ibar is the designated hitter. Ben Zobrist moves down to number 6. And the lower third of the order, Baldelli, Shopik, and Rodriguez are all new from last night's lineup. So Joe Madden in his 5th season with the Rays, the 2nd season he'll take the Rays to the playoffs. Who they will play in the first round is yet to be determined, as they're in a first-place tie with the Yankees in the American League East. In 2008, the Rays went all the way to the World Series and lost to the Phillies. So it's B.J. Upton, who is 1 for 4 with a double, a stolen base, and a run scored last night, moving up from the number 7 spot. And Bruce Chen throws strike 1. Upton would be one of those guys that could hit anywhere in the lineup because he hits for power, 18 home runs, 37 doubles, but he also has outstanding speed. And if he were to cut his swing down, he has 160 strikeouts this year. With 42 stolen bases, he'd be a very good leadoff man. And a soft liner is run down by Aviles in shallow center field. Here are the Royals defensively tonight. It's Alex Gordon, Gerard Dyson, and Gregor Blanco in the outfield. Around the horn, Josh Fields, Yudieski Betancourt, Mike Aviles, and Billy Butler. And Brian Pena is behind the plate. And now Jason Bartlett with 1 out. He hit 9th last night and was 0 for 3. And a strike from Bruce Chen.
Right, I'm a little puzzled by all the low batting averages, and you can maybe look at a few guys, but just down throughout their lineup, without the exception of Carl Crawford, the batting averages are well below average. And you look at the type of team that they have. Go back to last year and the year before. I mean, is it the hitting approach? Is it just an all-out approach, or is it cutting down with 2 strikes, trying to put the ball in play? But there's some tremendously low averages on this ball club.
And the strange thing about it, to add to what you just said, is they lead the league in walks. And normally a hitter who has a lot of walks has a good eye and has a pretty good batting average to go with it.
And they have the RBI too. I mean, it just when you go down hitter by hitter, you look at the high number of strikeouts, the high number of walks. And obviously, it's a good balance, but it's one that you usually don't see.
Man, have we gotten great weather for this final homestand. 69 degrees at first pitch tonight. We started right on time at 7:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. A little cooler, but more of the same expected throughout the weekend. Bruce Chen has his first strikeout, and there are 2 away in the first inning.
This is what Bruce does best here, Ryan. It's right on the outside corner. This one is a little over the high 3/4, but he can drop down and get a little more movement. But pinpoint control, that's the pitch he needs right there.
So Carl Crawford with 2 outs and nobody on. Crawford hit a long home run against Zach Greinke last night to right center field into the fountains. It was his 18th of the season. That ties a career high. And he's going to be one of the premier free agents during this upcoming offseason. A player who hits for average, hits for power, and is one of the fastest runners in the American League. And plays Gold Glove caliber defense.
It really does, Ryan. When you have that kind of speed, you can make up for a lot of things in the outfield. And you talk to all the guys who have speed, that's the one thing that they really point to, is that you can take that one step the wrong way, and then you can make it up with speed, where guys who don't have speed, they have to be precise in what they do.
The interesting thing about him is that he has never been a center fielder, at least in the big leagues, and he's never really been a leadoff man for a long time. He's done it from time to time, but has spent most of his career as a number 2 hitter.
Well, a lot of times you look at the fact that if he's a number 2 hitter, he pulls the ball, maybe he can bunt. You don't see a lot of bunting out of him, but he has that ability to probably hit anywhere from 1, 2, and 3.
The Rays moved him to the number 3 position back in early August, and that's really paid off. He is one of the best in the American League at hitting with runners in scoring position, and he's driven in 89 this year.
Another thing they could look at too is the fact that he's only got 46 walks and 100 strikeouts coming in this game. So the strikeouts might be a factor to some managers, but not to all managers.
Bruce Chen strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 first. Presented by M&I Bank, and Gregor Blanco will lead off again, and the Royals will get a look at him in right field. Josh Fields will be at third base. Wilson Betemeet was there last night, and Gerard Dyson, who started for the first time this year as a number 9 hitter last night and had his first major league triple, he'll hit there again tonight. And they'll be facing right-hander James Shields. Here's the Kia report.
Well, you only have to look at that top number, 34 home runs allowed. That's most in the AL, Ryan. And Billy Butler's had a lot of success against Shields. The key for the Royals tonight is the leadoff hitters. And leadoff hitters are hitting .313 against James Shields.
Ball 1 to Gregor Blanco. The Royals winning last night 3-2, and they scored all of their runs in the first 3 innings, with 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third against Matt Garza. And then Garza hit his groove and finished very strong over the next 4 innings. In fact, didn't give up a base hit over his final 4 innings. And Blanco down, no balls, 2 strikes last night. Hit a little dribbler in between the mound and first base. Garza fell down trying to field it, and the result was a single and a run scored. There's the single. We'll have to wait and see if it turns into a run scored again.
Well, this is what speed has to do. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get that first baseman to commit away from the base, and then it's just a foot race between you and the pitcher. And most times when that first baseman vacates, the base runner is going to win that battle.
And now 10 stolen bases over at first base. Blanco has only been thrown out twice. And now Mike Aviles with an 8-game hitting streak. And Shields throws strike 1. Mike extended that streak last night, going 1 for 4. He scored 1 of the 3 runs, and he picked up his 13th stolen base of the year, which is adding to his major league career high. One ball, 1 strike. Aviles hitting .357 in the month of September. He's been getting on base, and the Royals have been getting him home. He scored 20 runs in September. facing a pitcher who had a miserable September. James Shields had 5 starts in September. He was 0-3 with an ERA of right at 7.
Michael Vilas, when he first came up in 08, Ryan, everybody kind of wondered whether he was going to hit or not. And he went on to be the Royals Player of the Year. Then he had the injury, missed the whole season, and everybody wondered, could he come back and could he repeat what he did in 08? And I think what you're seeing now toward the end of this season is what we saw in 08, where he's not only getting the base hits, but he's able to drive the ball. The speed aspect of it is a little bit different. It's a little bit better.
Here are the last 3 outings for James Shields. His most recent, a loss on Sunday against the Mariners, where he gave up 5 runs in 6 innings and gave up his 34th home run of the year, which leads the American League, and that is a Tampa Bay franchise record. 2 balls and 1 strike on Aviles. Three and 1. You know, it's so cliche to say this, but it's really true. In Avila's case, he has never had anything handed to him. He wasn't even a Division I college player. He played college Division II and was the Division II Player of the Year in 2003 when the Royals drafted him, and didn't draft him very high. He was the Royals Minor League Player of the Year in 07. But the Royals didn't put him on the 40-man roster after he did that. So any team could have taken him in the Rule 5 draft. He gets to the big leagues the next year, and he's the Royals Player of the Year.
Yeah, some kind of turnaround. Plus, he was only signed for $1,000. He was a $1,000 signed guy out of college, and just definitely has made the best of it. I mean, his story is just as amazing as, say, Gerard Dyson's story.
So a good start for the Royals. 2 on, nobody out for Billy Butler, who was 1 for 4 last night. One for 4 puts him at .318 for the year, and that's 5th in the American League. This is the first time this year the Royals face James Shields, so a lot of hitters who haven't seen him yet. Billy has 11 career at-bats and 5 hits. There are 5 Royals in the lineup tonight that are facing him for the first time. And Shields throws low, ball 1. James Shields, Big Game James. That was his nickname in 2008 when he came through when the Rays needed him to. And that magical season for them, which resulted in a trip to the World Series. He was a 14-game winner in 2008 for Joe Madden. That is his career high for wins. He's trying to match that tonight. He starts tonight at 13-14 and 14 losses. Ties for the 4th highest total of losses in the American League. He is also trying to solidify a spot in the postseason starting rotation, which at least right now appears to be David Price and 3 other guys. Just hasn't been determined who those 3 other guys are going to be. And we're glad that everyone is smiling after that line drive over the Royals dugout.
It takes 5 guys to get that Division I, Ryan, and then you get that first round where it's best of 5, and you try to take the best 3, and he's always been a central part of that.
James down to second base, double play, Blanco to the plate, almost a triple play, but Blanco is safe. Kelly Shopik is convinced that Blanco never touched home plate. So Joe Madden will join the argument. The Royals get a run, So it's 1-4-3 on the double play with Blanco hustling all the way and scoring from second base.
Well, this is an outstanding play on their part and on Blanco's part here. It looks like he might have got the outside corner of the plate when he came through, but you see right here, Ron, he ran hard to third base, and once he saw the throw to go to first, he continued on home. And we can see where the tag obviously did miss him here. He steps back, takes that back foot away. And
never touched the plate.
Never got the plate. And that's what catchers like to do. They show you that plate, Ryan, and then once they make the catch and they throw that foot back in there to try to take that lane away, they did a good job of taking Blanco's foot off the home plate.
So the Royals get a run in the first inning for the second straight night.
They get a real good look at it here. The tag wasn't made at that point, but neither was the tag of home plate made at that point.
Shopik did, even though James Hoy signaled safe, he did go over and then tag Gregor Blanco after this slide, convinced that James Hoy might change his call. So he went over and tagged him, still safe. Shopik was convinced that Blanco never hit home plate. 2-1 on Keela.
We almost had an opportunity to see a triple play right there.
A very unconventional triple play, but a triple play nonetheless. Keela has hit in 6 straight, 1 for 4 last night, and he drove in 2 runs, both of those on ground balls to first base with a runner at third. Popped up. Shields wants it, and Pena takes it away from him. Royals give Bruce Chen a 1-0 lead. Gregor Blanco scoring from second base on a double play. At least that's what it says in the scorebook. It appears that he missed home plate, but James Hoy called him safe, and the Royals give Bruce Chen a 1-0 lead. And Bruce had a very good top of the first inning, facing 3 and striking out 2. Willie Ibar, the switch hitter, will be the designated hitter, followed by Carlos Pena and Ben Zobrist here in the second inning. 2 balls and no strikes. Ibar was not in the lineup last night. In fact, Joe Madden has 4 players in his lineup tonight who did not play last night. One player who still isn't in there is Evan Longoria. Ibar takes a 4-pitch walk. Tonight is a lucky night for one of our viewers. We've given away lots of jerseys over the past few weeks in our Take the Field sweepstakes. And tonight we drew our grand prize winner. Congratulations to Jeremy Zimmerly of Kansas City, Missouri. Jeremy will throw out the first pitch at a game next year. Fox Sports Kansas City would like to thank all the Royals fans who entered this year, and congratulations to Jeremy. So runner at first for Carlos Pena, who pulls it foul outside of first, 1 strike. Pena was 0 for 4 last night, dropping his average down to 196.
Unbelievable. I mean, a guy who does have a lot of strikeouts all the time, but he also walks a lot. So it's hard to draw that parallel between the walks and the strikeouts and the low batting average.
Bruce is ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. So the average has gone down. The home runs have gone down. A year ago today, Pena was done for the year because of a broken finger. He was hit by a pitch, but he hit 39 home runs, even though he missed the last 4 weeks of the season. But was doing much better than 196. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So a power hitter who doesn't give you much batting average but hits a lot of home runs. It's almost like the Limbo song. How low can you go where enough home runs makes up for a very low batting average?
I agree with you, Ryan. That can't be a good feeling to him going to the ballpark every day.
Bruce comes in sidearm, and it's 2-2 on Pena. Joe Maddon's team has excellent speed. They lead the league in stolen bases. They lead the league in walks, and they lead the league in strikeouts. But like you, Frank, as I was reviewing the Rays before last night's game, we haven't seen them since very early May. To see them hitting .249 as a team, which is 10th in the league, was staggering. I think of the Rays as a pretty balanced offense of average speed and power. Slow breaking ball that just froze Carlos Pena, and Chen has his 3rd strikeout.
When we look at it through Fox tracks about Chevrolet, that's that sweeping breaking ball where he drops that lower arm angle and it goes right at him and sweeps all the way across to the outer half and just holds him back enough that he can't swing.
And now Ben Zobrist, who bunts and does so foul. There's a nice gesture. Fan who ended up with that souvenir gave it to a young Royals fan who brought her glove. Maybe not the way she envisioned it, but the final result all the same, a ball in the glove. Popped up. A long run for Aviles. A long run for Blanco. And it's Aviles. A fair ball catch. And 2 away.
When you're going after a ball like this, you really just got to make sure you don't overrun it because it's always going to come back. And Mike just got caught behind it just a little bit, but that's the one thing about that ball down the line. You just got to time it when it gets to its highest peak and just get under it when it's coming down. So nice play by Mike.
So 2 down to Rocco Baldelli. Remember him? Man, what a great story. I'm sure you remember him. During his first tour with the Rays, a 1st-round pick in 2000, got to the big leagues as a 21-year-old in 2002. Compared to Joe DiMaggio, among others, a right-hand hitter with some power who could run and play center field, both of Italian descent. And then at the end of the 2005 season, the Rays signed Rocco Baldelli to a 6-year contract extension, but that's when all the injuries began. And at one point, He missed 221 consecutive games. Knee problems, hamstring problems, elbow problems. And when he got back from that, he acquired a protein disorder as far as how his body absorbs protein, and couldn't play. So he was retired. The Rays invited him to spring training as a special advisor and a coach with the hopes that he could play again, and he's back. Bruce Chen has struck out 4 in 2 scoreless innings. The list. Here's the final 4 that you're going to vote on. Grady Sizemore against Brian Bannister. Kyle Davies getting that out of Yadier Molina. Vladimir Guerrero tied up by Brian Bullington. Jammed and then smiling. And Joey Votto against Luke Hochevar. So what do you think? Josh Fields takes ball 1 outside. So tonight's sprint, you call it, the best, worst swing against the Royals this year. Who is on the top of the list? Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, followed by a space. Standard text rates apply.
And then you ask yourself, Ryan, what caused those guys to swing like that? And usually it's when they're looking for something different than what they got.
3 balls and no strikes on Josh Fields. And if you watch American Idol, you know it's quite a process to go to the very first tryout and then advance to the next round and the next round and on and on and on. Well, ours isn't quite as complicated, but everyone's involved. Frank and I divided the season up into thirds, and so we had 3 finalists from every third of the season. We then turned it over to the production crew. They then came up with the final 4, a winner from each round. And in the spirit of today's baseball playoff format, we added a wild card, and now it's up to the fans to declare the winner.
Should be fun.
Popped up into shallow right. And Rocco Baldelli, we were just talking about him, brings it down. So Fields is 0 for 1. And Yadier Molina, 79%. Keep voting. We'll probably show you the swings again later tonight. 432-432. The keyword is Royals, followed by a space and then A, B, C, or D. And then he goes and gets his own bat.
You think he was looking for something inside?
The thing I like about that too is not just the poor guess as far as what he thought he was going to get compared to what he actually got, as Alex skies it to shallow center field and Bartlett backs out from short, so there are 2 down. But the fact that after he made that pathetic attempt for contact, he felt like that swing wasn't even worthy for a bat boy to go pick up his bat. He would go get it himself. So 2 down to Yuniesky Betancourt. Uni has the most experience of all the Royals tonight against James Shields with 19 at-bats and only 4 hits. Gregor Blanco with a bunt single to begin the bottom of the first inning. And with runners at first and second and nobody out, Billy Butler grounded into a double play, but Blanco came around to score from second base. 2 balls and no strikes on Uni. Left it out over the plate, and it's going to cost him extra bases. Betancourt into second base with a 2-out double. That is not where Kelly Shopik was set up.
His fastball right on the inner half of the plate. That's where Yuniesky Betancourt likes the ball. Belt high, and he's able to keep this ball fair right inside the bag. And he's done that a number of times this year, Ryan. And that's an easy double into second base.
So Uni is safe at second base, safe and secure. New York life. And now Pena pops it up. And again, it's Bartlett out from short. And that's all for the Royals in the bottom of the second inning. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, AT&T. Rethink Possible by Panera Bread. Explore a menu of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and breakfast items at Panera Bread. And by Chevrolet. Come see for yourself why 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealer. 1-0 Royals to the top of the third inning, and we welcome in Joel Goldberg, who has one of the best seats in the house tonight.
Yeah, this is a good one. Art Stewart's down here, and Brian Reese, who's a scout for the Royals, is here as well. And just an amazing story, one of the better scouting stories I've ever heard. All right, Brian, tell us about the day that you went to see a pitcher in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi. What happened and who it ended up leading you to?
Well, when I get to the game, I see a young man running, more or less punishment running, and it turns out it's the pitcher I'm there to see. So I'm really in the middle of nowhere, and there's no place else I can get to, so I sit and watch the game. And playing right field and hitting fourth is Gerard Dyson, and he puts the ball in play to the shortstop, and he runs to first base. I look at my stopwatch, and I just can't believe my eyes. He was one of the fastest kids I've ever seen run.
And so you were telling me before that you didn't really even believe that stopwatch. You thought that maybe you hadn't been paying enough attention and had to look again.
Absolutely. As I found out the pitcher I was there to see wasn't going to pitch that day, I was disappointed, and I didn't think I was really on top of my game right there. But he came up the second time and he hit a 2-hop ball to the left fielder, kind of slicing to the foul line. He got a stand-up triple and looked at my watch, and I said, "Okay, this is a guy I'm going to be on."
And of course, nobody else knew about him. He ended up being a 50th round draft pick for you guys, but you were telling me that you had to maybe do a little deception then every time you went to see him to make sure nobody else knew about this kid, Gerard Dyson.
That's right. I kind of had to match up when there was a prospect on the opposing team. Then I would show up, but I was really there to see Gerard, but I didn't want to give away that I had an interest.
Well, it's all worked out, obviously, and he has really taken Kansas City and the fans by storm, us as well, just to see that speed that you saw a number of years ago. For you now, what's it like to be sitting here and watching Gerard Dyson, a kid that you discovered, 50th round, actually be making an impact in the big leagues?
It's really an amazing, I think, credit to the entire system. This is a young man that had tools. He could run. He had some instincts to play the game, but our development system and the minor league coaches and the front office people really, they really went the extra mile with him, and it's certainly the results as he's here now in Kansas City. It's something that the whole organization can be impressed with.
And you were also mentioning there's a lesson to be learned there too for anyone, and I suppose you've all done it before. You show up and you're disappointed and you say, I might as well head out of here. And had you done that, we may not know about Gerard Dyson.
Well, every day you're at a ballpark, you got a chance to see a future big leaguer, and for me, that's why I get up out of bed every morning, is to go find the next big leaguer.
All right, well, congratulations on seeing Gerard up here. Continued success and all the hard work. We appreciate it, Brian.
Thank you very much.
All right, that is Brian Reese. Guys, it's an amazing story. Never went there that day expecting to see Gerard Dyson. That disappointment of seeing that suspended pitcher turned into now what has been a pretty big name here in September for the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, great story. Thank you, Joel. There aren't many of them, but there are stories out there where a scout goes to see one guy and discovers someone else. B.J. Upton pops up to Billy Butler for the second out of the third inning.
They say he was a pitcher?
He was going to see a pitcher, and Gerard was playing right field and batting fourth. So we're talking about, that occasionally he has some power, and we're talking about, junior college, and as Brian described it, out in the middle of nowhere. So not one of the top line junior college programs in the country, but still enough power to bat fourth. So that might have turned some scouts off. Now this little guy batting fourth, he's not going to be a number 4 hitter, but the creativity of the scout is to try and imagine him in a position where he might succeed.
So Brian saw the speed for one, but it was amazing how he's able to keep all of the other scouts off of him. Just because when you see speed, everybody's eyes just kind of light up, But that's a great story.
2 balls and no strikes on Jason Bartlett, and Bruce Chen struck him out in the first inning. Bruce has 5 strikeouts already. Line to Uni, and that's the inning. Royals lead 1-0 at the end of 2.5. on the cool side before the game is over. Boy, some Sheridan's hot chocolate would be nice, wouldn't it, Frank?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, it might as well take us all the way back to April when we had room service. It's pretty good.
Booth service. Gerard Dyson, 1 out of 3, his first major league triple last night. The first of many, I'm sure. Drove in his 5th run of the year. 1 ball, 1 strike against James Shields. That triple put an end to an 0 for 10. Gerard just 1 out of 12 in the Minnesota series. Good curveball in for a strike, 1-2. And into right center field. That's going to roll deep. And that's an easy 3. Down to the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dyson has his 2nd triple in the last 2 games. And there's the scout that signed him.
And we didn't get that big smile on Brian's face, but look and see this run. Dyson took a good turn at first base, and he was on after that run. And still let's see where that ball is, but like I said, when he got to third base very easily.
So Gerard is safe at third base, safe and secure. New York life.
Well, you said it right. Easy triple.
And now ball 1 on Gregor Blanco, who laid down a beautiful drag bunt in the 1st inning. And then with runners at 1st and 2nd, Billy Butler grounded into a double play, but Blanco scored from 2nd base. Pickoff play to 3rd. Well, we saw last night when Ben Zobrist was at 3rd base. And with a runner at 3rd base and less than 2 outs, Zobrist was holding the bag with Matt Garza on the mound. And what was the last time Gerard Dyson had to do that?
Well, probably never in his career, but that is a good move to first base. His base runners are taught to move forward when the pitcher raises his leg. And Steve Busby was the best at picking runners off 3rd base with that same move.
And that's probably one of the reasons why the fake to 3rd, go to 1st doesn't work. You know, what, 49 out of 50 times, whatever. Because very few pitchers are actually trying to pick off a runner at 3rd. You're not fooling anyone when you do that. Blanco up the right field line. That's fair. Extra bases for him. The Royals take a 2-0 lead. And now Blanco wants 3. And not to be outdone by Dyson, the Royals have back-to-back triples. The Royals look like the Rays tonight.
One thing about hitting the triple, Ryan, is when you get halfway to 2nd base, you get a base runner, you see the crowd get loud as you get close to the 2nd base. And it's fun to watch these guys run triples. And Dyson and Blanco back-to-back. You see right out of the chute, this is all in front of him, so he knows exactly what he wants to do right here. You know, you've asked people a lot of times, what's more exciting, to watch a guy run a triple or to see a home run? And most people say, watch a guy run a triple.
Infield in, at least on the corners. And Aviles was trying to get it up the middle, but he hits it right to Pena, who was drawn in. So Blanco stays at 3rd base, and there's 1 out. Coming up tomorrow, the first 20,000 fans are going to get a Royals Sluggy. That's a 6:10 game with the Rays. Sluggy's courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City. It's also Fan Appreciation Night presented by Sprint. So to get your tickets, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Ball 1 inside to Billy Butler, and now the entire infield comes in. Billy grounded into a 1-4-3 double play in the first inning. But on the play, Blanco scored from second base. Now Billy's trying to get him in from third. Sinking down and in, 2 balls, no strikes. It was the 32nd time this year that Billy Butler has grounded into a double play. Fouled it off of his foot. So James Shields trying to keep everything down and hoping for a ground ball and a play at the plate. Billy is looking for a pitch that is up so he can at least get it into the outfield. And a curveball buckled him for a strike, 2-2.
It's a nice curveball by Shields here. You can always watch the reaction of the hitter to let you know if it's a good one or not. And you can see right there, Billy just was froze on this curveball.
Riding inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I heard you say a lot of times, just go out and find all these guys that can run. Just sign them all and then get them here. Let's see what happens. But I'll tell you, after watching these 2 guys, Dyson and Blanco, run triples, it's pretty exciting baseball.
And Billy lines it to right field, and the Royals take a 3-0 lead. And Billy ties Yuniesky Betancourt for the team lead with his 78th RBI. And we look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Billy Butler among American League leaders in times on base, base hits, batting average, doubles, and on base percentage. Well, he didn't quite have the year this year that he did last year, but impressive nonetheless. If you think the categories we just showed you are important. Keela popped out to first in the first inning. Keela has driven in 8 so far in the homestand, and 6 of those in the Minnesota series. Ahead in the count here, 2 balls, no strikes. As Keela announced himself after the game last night that he had 2 RBIs on ground balls that didn't even go 90 feet. But as we talked about, Frank, that's the thing about RBI guys. Yeah, they're going to hit their home runs. They're going to get their 2- and 3-run doubles. But they're also going to get the ground ball RBIs, the sacrifice fly RBIs, the ones that don't necessarily make the highlights after the game.
And that's what you look for. You look at how they're playing on the infield, and that ground ball is what you're looking for. A lot of times your guys are driving a lot of runs. They say in that situation, the base hit is the last thing that's on their mind. They want to try to get a fly ball, a sacrifice fly. If the infield's back, they want to get a ground ball and get the job done that way.
Keela with 3 home runs in the final 2 games of the Minnesota series. Now 3 balls, 1 strike against the pitcher who has given up the most home runs in the American League. Keela lays off a pitch high and walks. And here comes Rays pitching coach Jim Hickey. James Shields has gone over the 200 innings mark, and it's the 4th consecutive season he has done that. But he's also given up the most runs in the American League this year, the most home runs. And as we told you earlier, he is tied for the 4th most losses in the American League. His last win was 6 starts ago at the end of August against the Red Sox. And down 3-0 in the 3rd inning tonight. So first and second for Josh Fields, who flied out to right field in the 2nd inning. No balls, 1 strike. Wilson Betemit was at third base last night and was 0 for 4 and 0 for his last 10. So Fields back in there at third tonight. He has Butler at second base and Keela at first. Pulled foul, no balls, 2 strikes. Tomorrow morning, the KU Jayhawks open their Big 12 conference schedule against the Baylor Bears right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Coverage begins at 10:30 a.m. with the Big 12 kickoff show, followed by KU and Baylor at 11 a.m. here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Now Shields and Shopik having a difficult time getting on the same page with the 2-strike pitch to Josh Fields. James Shields is the only starter in the Rays rotation that is not surpassing a career high in innings pitched, and I should say professional high, because I'm including the minor leagues as well. Fields fouls it away and down he goes.
We take a look at this, Ryan. He's got the shin guard up above the ankle, but this one gets down below that. Have to get that longer one that kind of covers the ankle and go all the way down to the ground.
Wear one of those catcher's shin guards.
You know, players kind of give themselves away when they do that. It just tells me that they have a hard time laying off the ball inside, especially when it's going down and in. They tend to hit it off their ankle a lot more.
Just a little bit high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Josh Fields has his up around his shin guard, where the shin guard would normally go, and it tells you that ball, when the ball comes in, he hits around the ball, and when you hit around the ball, you hit it right down into your ankle or down into your leg.
Still 1-2. Well, I've heard it before that good sinker ball pitcher obviously is getting a lot of ground balls, but the best sinkers don't result in ground balls. The best sinkers are fouled down around the hitter's feet.
Well, they're not fun either, I tell you.
Line to left field on a 1-2 pitch. Willie will be held at third, and the Royals have loaded the bases with 1 out.
Josh does a better job here, Ryan. The sinker coming in, ball coming in on him. He does a good job of meeting it out in front of the plate and hit the line drive into left field. It's too hard for Billy Butler to score, so he cruises in the third base.
So they're loaded up for Alex Gordon, who is dying for a hit. 0 for 1 tonight, 0 for his last 11. And that has his average down at 214, and he chases one low and in the dirt, strike 1. So Alex would love to do something big in the final 3 games of the season before he takes 5 months off, at least from games.
From games, right. But right in this situation here, Ryan, you just want the ball up. You got a pitcher that likes to work down. You want to try to make him get the ball up so you can get the ball over the infield.
That's what Alex has done with the bases loaded in his career. He does not have a grand slam yet, and an average of 207. He has Butler at third base, Keela at second, Fields at first. And he's down 1-2. Alex just 2 out of 13 against James Shields. Royals have scored 2 in the inning to take a 3-0 lead. They scored their first run in the first. Two and two. This is pitch number 30 in this inning for Shields. He only has 1 out. And it's lined to right field. So Alex comes through. He drives in 1. And the Royals lead 4-0.
Pitch early that Alex swung over the top right, but Shields left this one up a little higher, and he gets a line drive in the right field, and only 1 run can score, and he hit it so hard. Good 2-strike hitting on Alex's part right there.
So the Royals will bat 8 at least as Betancourt comes up, and he has the bases loaded with 1 out. And a curveball is in for strike 1. And we mention it every time Uni comes to the plate. 3 grand slams this year, which ties him for the American League lead and the Royals' single season record. 1-1. Andy Sonnenstein, who has spent a big chunk of his Rays career as a starter, is warming up in the bullpen. Grounded to third. Rodriguez steps on the bag and throws to first for a double play. It's a 3-run inning for the Royals, and it gives them a 4-0 lead. Fourth inning, and take a look at tonight's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison. Bruce Chen against James Shields tonight. Shields more impressive with the radar gun, but Bruce has a 4-0 lead. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Carl Crawford struck out his first time up. Bruce has 5 strikeouts, and the Rays with just 1 hit. It'll be Crawford, Willie Ibar, and Carlos Pena. Two and one. Going with the slow curveball again. Now behind in the count. 3 balls, 1 strike. Working very quickly tonight. And it's 3-2 on Crawford. Bruce has not lost since August the 23rd. That's 7 starts ago. Popped up. Ryan Pena with Josh Fields behind him. And Pena retires Crawford. Let's get another update from tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint, as we are asking you to vote for the top of the list, the best worst swing on the list. And maybe we'll get an opportunity to show you those again. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, and then A, B, C, or D.
When you look at Molina, Ryan, would you call that a swing or a throw?
Well, it was ruled a swing. Here's the leader so far, Yadier Molina, against Kyle Davies.
No weight transfer, just whoop.
Well, he made contact, right? That's what he was trying to do. Left center field, Dyson, an easy play for him. So Ibar is out, and they're 2-away in the 4th inning. Here's the complete list. If you weren't with us earlier, the final 4. Just a little late. Molina making contact. Guerrero making contact. Then the smile.
If they only knew what we were doing.
1 strike on Carlos Pena. He struck out in the 2nd inning. 157th strikeout of the year. The Rays with just 2 base runners so far tonight. Such a baffling offense. The Rays are one of just 3 teams in the American League that average 5 runs per game, which is a big number. It doesn't sound like much, but that's big for an average. However, they have had 13 games this year where they've only had 3 hits or less, and that's the most in the major leagues. So they are either very good, which happens a lot of the time, or very bad.
But when you go into the playoffs, that's what it's concerning, because the pitchers you're going to face in the playoffs are going to be top-notch pitchers. Those first 3 guys are going to be guys capable of shutting you out and shutting your offense down. So that's where the concern would be with the high strikeout.
Billy charges in from first, gets it to Chen. Bruce Chen has pitched 4 scoreless innings tonight. Royals with 1 in the first and 3 in the third against James Shields, who really struggled in the month of September. And even though this is the beginning of a new month, pitchers don't normally see it that way because there's only a couple few games. If the schedule is such that roll over into October, it's not like going from June to July or July to August. So his problems continue from the month of September, where his ERA was 7 and he was winless. Ryan Pena popped out to short in the second inning. He'll be followed by Gerard Dyson and Gregor Blanco. Deep short and past Bartlett. Leadoff single for Brian Pena.
What Brian does really well, Brian, when he plays a lot, this is what you see from him. Balls the other way left-handed, balls the other way right-handed. Does a good job hitting this hard ground ball by Bartlett at shortstop.
And now Gerard Dyson, who hit another triple. He got his first major league triple last night, and triple leading off the third, and came around to score on Gregor Blanco's triple. Blocked by Shopik. Pena had made a move towards second base as the pitch was coming in. 1-0 on Dyson. Dyson's triple to right center field. And in this ballpark with these dimensions, if he gets one to the gaps, forget it.
Yeah, when he hit ball, he's always 90 feet away from an inside the park home run all the time when he hits the ball. All it takes is a miscue or outfielder picking the ball up, dropping it one time, and even missing the cutoff on the cutoff and relay. I mean, he's just that fast.
Now Chad Qualls is warming up in the bullpen. It was Andy Sonnenstein last inning. Two balls and one strike. Good pitch over the inside, and it's 2-2. Let's take a look at Dyson's triple back in the third.
All right, we just need to look at this. I mean, once he hit it, he's off and running.
Now, who was that singing in the microphone? Did you hear that?
It's like, was it da-da-da-da? Was it something like that, wasn't it?
Is that the Lone Ranger?
No, that's more like
Swanee would know that. What is that, Swanee? More like Bonanza.
Yeah, they remember the old cartoon Speedy Gonzales. Kind of remind me of that music also, or that sound actually.
If it has anything to do with a show tune or a television show theme, we asked Ron Swan, who is our camera operator up here in the booth. Camera 2, as they call it. High home. He knows them all. In fact, Randy Miller, our audio man, who plays music for us in between innings. And sometimes Randy will have a theme. Other times it'll just be a request night. We'll give him a request. He'll play it for us. And Swanee tonight went with the theme from the Rockford Files. Now, who would do that? I mean, you have the choice to hear any song. The theme from the Rockford Files.
He's a James Garner fan.
And then, as it's pointed out by Randy Miller, what's worse, Swanee requesting it or that Randy Miller actually had it? Theme from the Rockford Files? Oh, sure. Out at second base, no chance for a double play, so Pena is cut down, and 2 outs, and Blanco at first, who has scored twice tonight. now Mike Aviles, who has walked and grounded out to first. Blanco has 10 stolen bases. He's been thrown out twice. Aviles has an 8-game hitting streak. Royals showing off their speed last inning as Dyson and Blanco hit back-to-back triples in the Royals' 3-run third. Aviles goes down after fouling it off of his foot.
I'd say that's never a good feeling. I tell you that you hit it and it's like a 2-second delay, and all of a sudden it comes all on you at one time. It's pretty painful.
You know, the Royals have a lot of power in the minor leagues, and we hear about Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer, Will Myers, Clint Robinson quite a bit. But there's also a lot of speed. I mean, Dyson's the first of what could be several players like him. Derek Robinson is in the minor leagues. Paulo Orlando, the player from Brazil that the Royals got from the White Sox, I believe, in the Horacio Ramirez deal. So a combination of power and speed on the way to Kansas City. Aviles, after fouling one off of his shoe, almost swung out of his shoe. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Dayton Moore wanted to do when he came in, Ryan, was put as many athletic bodies in the lower minors as possible, especially some of those guys that are coming over from the school in the Dominican Republic, and some of the raw guys that need a little bit more polishing. That's a great league for those guys to play in, more of a developmental type situation. But it takes them a little bit longer to get here, but you have a pretty good player when it all comes together.
Grounded to third, and Rodriguez throws out Aviles, and the Royals are done in the 4th inning. They have a 4-0 lead. Of playoff teams, and now trying to make it 4-1 on the homestand with an early 4-0 lead.
Well, Bruce Chen has given him a great opportunity to get that done, Ryan. Only 1 hit allowed, and he's got 5 strikeouts, so that might be a career strikeout game for him. It keeps going.
And in the 5th inning, he gets Ben Zobrist, Rocco Baldelli, and Kelly Shopik. Zobrist popped out to second base in the 2nd inning. Only one hit so far for the Rays, and it was a bunt single. Only 2 base runners as Willie Ibar walked back in the second inning. Caught by Fields at third base with very little reaction time. And Zobrist was all over that 1-0 pitch.
That's why they called the hot corner. The ball gets there very quickly, and we've seen Josh Fields make 2 nice plays at third base so far, Brian, on this stand. That's one of them, and had a diving play to his right. So that first step, that first reaction time is pretty quick for Josh Fields.
And now Baldelli pops up the first pitch thrown to him, and Aviles brings it down, 2 away. So Bruce Chen going for his 12th win tonight. It looked like he was going to get it on Sunday. One of his best starts of the year, maybe his best. 6 2/3 scoreless against the Indians, but Cleveland against the Royals bullpen scored 5 in the 8th inning. And Bruce finished strong in that outing. He retired 16 of the last 19. Ball 1 on Kelly Shopik. Shopik struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. That was Bruce's 5th strikeout. 1-1.
Well, Taco Bell shows us through Fox Tracks what his pitch is, Ryan, and that's where Bruce would probably wanted more to the outer half. That's a little bit more plate than he normally works with, but he's back to back in the same spot. And you take a look when he's on, man, that's what you see. You just being able to repeat the same pitch over and over again.
Dropping down sidearm, 2-2.
Well, you can see Brian Pena there sort of directing him which arm angle to use. You can see him reach out. He wants it down below, and he came down low on that pitch there. So it's a good way to sort of help Bruce Chen decide what he want to do with his arm angle.
That is the 6th strikeout for Bruce Chen, who now has 5 scoreless innings. As we go to the bottom of the 5th inning and take a look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who are the last 2 lefties to win at least 12 games in a season for the Royals? I know. You were on that team. And I don't know because I just know. I saw it.
You saw the game?
Yeah. No, I didn't see the game, but when Bruce was going for his 12th start last time out, this was brought up in some of the research. And the two lefties were on the same team. 1 ball, 1 strike. Remember, always begin with
in the house.
Okay.
I don't want to say a name yet, though.
Why?
Give the fans a chance.
How nice of you, Frank. 1-2 on Billy Butler.
Well, they say it's a producer-driven show, so.
Unless you have 8 Gold Gloves and a retired number, that trumps the producer-driven show.
I'll say split being 1.
Now, split was done when this occurred. Baldelli can't find the ball, and Billy Butler is going to go to second base. Baldelli thought it was worse than it actually was. And the whole time, the ball was just down by his feet, and Billy gets a double, his 44th of the year.
But a lot of times the first reaction that an outfielder gets when the ball comes up on him is to look up, and this ball went down, and that was the difference. Billy stayed behind this ball. Baldelli got too close to it, and when it went up, he thought it continued to go up. It actually went down on him.
And now Keela, who has walked and popped out to first base. Keela drove in 2 last night in the Royals' 3-2 win, and 6 in the Minnesota series. And he bunts. And Shields just barely throws him out. Not only did he bunt, he laid down a very good bunt. So he will get a hero's welcome as he goes back into the dugout. A very unselfish play on his part, especially with the way he's been swinging the bat lately.
Well, you're right about that, and you don't know if that's called from the bench. It's almost like he was trying to bunt for a base hit, and he ends up getting a sacrifice bunt out of this. But I think in this situation with a 4-run lead, you kind of want your big guy to go ahead and swing the bat.
Infield comes in halfway with Butler at third base, and Josh Fields takes way outside, ball 1. The sacrifice is such an interesting statistic because a hitter can be rewarded with a sacrifice, and it is a reward because you don't lose an official at bat when he's not trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt. Fields grounds out. Butler is still at third base. If you hit a sacrifice fly, which most of the time you're taking a full swing and hoping for more, but if you get a sacrifice fly, you're not charged with an at bat. But if you swing the bat and give yourself up and hit a little ground ball to an infielder and a runner comes in from third, or you hit a little ground ball to the right side and get a runner from second to third, for some reason that's not a sacrifice.
That's not a sacrifice. And I think the official scorers have to really know what a sacrifice bunt is versus a bunt for a base hit. And I think if they make that clarification in their brain, then I think that a lot of these bunt for base hits should be considered ABs. Now, sacrifice is squaring around, putting the ball down, and it's a distinct look between a sacrifice bunt and bunt for a base hit. But they kind of lump them together, and they get sacrifices on both of those. I think right there, Keela was clearly bunting for a base hit down the third baseline.
A strike to Alex, 0-2. Well, the word sacrifice is in there for a reason. I mean, you are sacrificing one of your at-bats. And a hitter can go up there with a runner at third and less than 2 outs and try and hit a home run. So he's not trying to hit a fly ball for an out, trying to hit a home run, but makes an out, and he's rewarded. And then the same hitter can go up there and take the ugliest swing he's taken in a month. But for the benefit of the team, he's just trying to hit a ground ball to get a runner home or move over to third, and he's charged in at bat.
That's a good point.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
I mean, it's almost like there should be a category. You look at this situation here with Billy at third, and let's say James Shields throws the ball in the dirt, and the catcher blocks it and saves that run. So, but there's no statistic to keep track of that, of block balls in crucial situations. So we have an imperfect game.
Hit hard, but right to Bartlett on 2 hops. So, no! Pena comes off the bat. So Bartlett made the most difficult part of the play, handling a sharp 2-hopper. But then he throws it away, and the Royals take a 5-0 lead.
Well, you're right, Ryan. Sometimes when you make this tough play on a ball, then you relax a little bit, and that's what he does right here. And Pena does a great job trying to maintain contact with the bag and catch the ball at the same time, but he just drug his foot right off the base.
Tonight is not James Shields' night.
Well, September has not been his month, and I think that's what he's probably feeling right now. He's probably feeling he can go out tonight and kind of make up for all those other starts this month and just end September on a good note. It's just not happening for him right now, and I would think Joe Madden would be pretty concerned about how his team is playing going down the stretch right here, getting themselves ready for the playoffs.
Fouled away by Uni. Well, if you're looking for a unique venue to wow your guests from start to finish, step up to the plate and make Kauffman Stadium the setting for an unforgettable night of holiday cheer with 5 beautifully renovated venues to choose from and accommodations for groups of 30 to 300. Kauffman Stadium is sure to make your holiday party a home run. And they are beautiful venues. Left field for Carl Crawford. And the Rays give the Royals a run, and at the end of 5, the Royals lead 5-0.
Goldberg with Royals Assistant General Manager of Scouting and Player Development, J.J. Piccolo. And, I know this is always a really fun couple of days for you to have all these award winners from all the levels of the minor leagues up here. But how about some of these kids now that are getting so close to the majors? What is this week meant for them?
Well, it's an exciting time for the whole organization, and to get players to come in here and see Kauffman Stadium, see our team play well here the last 2 nights. Hopefully, it's something to always remember and gives them a lot of motivation to get back here.
And now we're starting to see players come in here that have championships under their belt as well. And of course, as we take a look and see some of those kids walking out there. There's Clint Robinson walking out on the field. He's a Northwest Arkansas natural champion as well. We're seeing a lot of these kids win together.
Yeah, and that's a big part of the development plan. You can't plan it, but you like to see it. And when these guys play together, like many of them have, the AA club from Burlington to Wilmington to now, you're starting to build something special, and hopefully it can continue through the next couple years.
Seeing Chris Dwyer walk out there, and I've heard that he's getting close, left-handed pitcher. Will Myers, such a good hitter. John Lamb is getting closer, the Paul Splittorff Award winner this year as well. I guess they say you can never have too many lefties, but it seems like they're everywhere you look for you guys.
Well, we're fortunate in that respect, and it's something we set out a couple years ago. We didn't have a lot of left-handers in the system, and Dayton basically said we need to go get left-handed pitching, high-ceiling guys. We got a bunch of high school kids. Then we mixed Dwyer in there, and now you got Everett Tiford, who's a college pick. All of a sudden, we got a handful of left-handers who are good-looking prospects.
You know, you talk about the left-handers, and of course, we've heard so much about Moustakas, Hosmer, Myers, just to name maybe the three biggest names out there. But how much do you think it'll help to not just having that one guy where everybody's saying, I know everybody's focusing on Moustakas right now, but not having that one guy with the target and having so many maybe be able to come up together?
Well, it's important because it's very difficult for one guy to come up and do it, and especially to be on an island by himself. And we've seen that with so many guys, so many prospects, but they do tend to lean on each other. I know we heard it the other day in the press conference in Puerto Rico with Moustakas and Hosmer, and they play off of each other. And you get a guy like Clint Robinson in the mix with them, and it's a good group of guys, and it's a good mix, and they push one another.
What about the effect of having a Gerard Dyson on the field? Because that wasn't always the case in past years, but here are these kids here, and with his injury rehab assignments this year, he played at a lot of different levels. What kind of impact does that have on these young kids, seeing Gerard out there?
Well, it's great. It was the first thought that went through my mind last night to see him in the lineup, and I started thinking about how many of these guys here receiving these awards played with Gerard this year, and it's quite a few of them. And then he had a nice night, which made it even better.
All right, final thing then. I know that there's temptation for everybody. We get excited about thinking, all right, when are these guys going to get here? The fans they're really ready to see these names. How about for you as an organization, just trying to be patient and find that right time?
Well, I think we have to be patient, and like we like to say, the players will tell us, not literally tell us, but the way they go out and perform, the way they handle failure, the way they handle successes, we need to judge when they're ready. And it's tough to put a timetable or say so-and-so is going to be here then. We have to be patient. We want them all to be here, and when they get here, most importantly, that they're ready and we can be successful.
Well, we know it's getting close. We know that not just, and everybody always talks about their own prospects, but now on an everyday basis, really. Nationally, they're talking about it, all the experts, Baseball America, and on and on. So congratulations on all the success, and we're looking forward to seeing some of these kids up here soon.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it all.
All right, that is J.J. Piccolo. Certainly been a big year and big few years here for the Royals minor league system, with much more to come, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. We see them one day very casual in their Royals polo shirts, and then the very next night in their fancy suits. Who was the guy? Remember about 5 years ago, he was the player of the year, I think, for you at AA Wichita, and he showed up in a very stylish royal blue suit.
Byron Geddes.
Byron Geddes.
Yes. He was from St. Louis.
What a great guy. Most guys, like we saw tonight, had some sort of a dark suit, dark blue, dark gray, black, and he had this royal blue pants, royal blue shoes, royal blue jacket, royal blue tie. It was wonderful. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Producer Kevin Shank reminding me that Byron Geddes was a very good high school football player, and his younger brother Carl is playing at Mizzou. But what Kevin did not remember is that Byron Geddes was going to go to the world-renowned academic and athletic institution, the University of Minnesota, to play quarterback before the Royals signed him. 6 scoreless innings for Bruce Chen. 5-0 Royals to the bottom of the 6th inning. One strike on Brian Pena, who's 1 for 2 with a single. Royals scored in the 1st inning. Gregor Blanco scoring from second on a double play. The Royals got 3 in the 3rd. Blanco, Butler, and Gordon driving in the runs. And their 5th run last inning, thanks to a throwing error by shortstop Jason Bartlett. And lined over Bartlett, and it's a 2-hit game for Pena. Both of his base hits have been leading off the inning. So a good night for the Royals leadoff men tonight. 5 times in 6 innings, the leadoff man is reached.
Well, we said at the beginning of the broadcast that the leadoff guy really gives James Shields trouble this year. They're hitting a clip at 313 coming into the ballgame.
Ball 1 to Gerard Dyson. He led off the 3rd inning with a triple and then scored on Gregor Blanco's triple. Shields struck him out in the 4th. Two and 0.
We're kind of curious to see how many of the Royals players are going to actually play winter ball this year. I think right now, if you have an opportunity to be a starting player going into 2011, you want to try to get as many games as you can in under your belt. I know Blanco's going to be playing in Venezuela, and I asked Brian Pena today; he's playing. So just trying to get a read on how many of these guys are going to play in the off season. So, I mean, to me, it only helps you as a player to get as many at bats as possible.
It's such a long season, and you can imagine players are just dreaming about having time off because of the grind. But that's a good point, Frank. I mean, this is time that you don't get back. If there's a big opportunity out there to make an impression or prove to the team that you can do more than you showed them, it's 2 or 3 months that you might want to spend, even though you'd rather be on your couch watching football.
Well, that's true. The guys get over 500 at bats. It might be a little different, but we used to go by 250 mark.
This will be interesting. It's a base hit for Dyson. Speaking of watching football on your couch, Dyson just outran the defense.
Well, he definitely did. Once Pena committed in early on this ball, he had no chance at all. And when you got a guy as fast as Dyson, you want to try to lead the ground balls to especially those type there to the pitcher and the second baseman, and you always want to keep first base occupied. But he ran right by both guys.
And now the pitch gets away from Shopik, who can't find it. It's Brian Pena going second to third. If it had been Dyson going second to third, he might have taken a shot at home plate.
He would have definitely given it a good look, that's for sure. That's when James Shields has a point to where this ball is. Once it gets by, it goes off Shopik's glove, goes off of James Hoyt. But, there he starts to point. But when the catcher looks right at the pitcher, he's got to be pointing all the way and running down toward home plate. And James Shields was just a little bit late on the point.
That is Shields' 13th wild pitch of the year, which becomes even more important now with a runner at third base. 2 balls and no strikes on Gregor Blanco, who's had a good night so far. He singled and scored in the 1st inning and scored from second base on a ground ball double play. Tripled, drove in a run, and scored in the 3rd and grounded out in the 4th. At a play, 2 balls and 1 strike. Only 3 other pitchers in the American League have more wild pitches than James Shields. So Kelly Shopik has to be heads up here with runners at second and third. Infield in for the Rays. And Blanco strokes it to right center field, and the Royals will get 2. Well, big night for Blanco. He has scored twice, and he's driven in 3.
And he hit this ball very well. Got in on him a little bit, but strong enough to get it out in the right center field. And with Dyson on second base, that's an automatic score there. So Pena, Dyson come in on the base hit.
So James Shields, with a 5-1 career record against the Royals, is out. And he's given up 7 runs in 5+ innings. So the Rays make a Chevy call to the bullpen. Yeah. Crew, one of our video operators, and his stepdaughter McKenna is enjoying the game tonight. And the Royals are enjoying a 7-0 lead for the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike Ekstrom comes on with Blanco at first base. 2 runs in. The Royals have knocked James Shields out. Shields facing 3 in this inning, all 3 reaching. And it's Mike Aviles, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. And a strike from Ekstrom. Blocked by Shopik. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Royals are 3-2 against Tampa Bay. They haven't seen much of the Rays this year. They split 4 games at the end of April and early May in St. Petersburg, and then 1 last night. So only 5 games that have been completed, but still the Royals have the only winning record against the Rays of all American League teams. That gets past Rodriguez, but Bartlett backs it up, and the Rays get an out at second base. So Bartlett was still able to find the ball, even though I'm sure for a while Zobrist screened him from the ball, missing the ground ball.
But that's a tough play. You go in thinking he's going to catch it, you go into the backup, and all of a sudden the ball's in your glove. So that was a nice adjustment by Bartlett to get the run at second base.
So Aviles at first with 1 out, and now Billy Butler. 2 hits for Billy, his 44th double included. 2 runs scored and his 78th RBI to tie Yuniesky Betancourt for the team lead. One and one. Royals actually ended up having a pretty good year against the Eastern Division, which was the best division in the American League this year. The Toronto Blue Jays, who are in 4th place in the East, are 7 games above 500. So 4 of the 5 teams above 500. And the Royals are an even 16-16 against the East, with a chance to make it 17-16 if they can hang on tonight. Line foul. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Billy grounds it to third. That's a fair ball. And the play is to first. So Butler is out. And Aviles moves up to second base. This is our final telecast of the year. And Joel spent some time last night recognizing and thanking members of our great crew. And we have a great crew. Believe me, those aren't just empty words. And the baseball season is a marathon. But our crew is with us every step of the way. And they sure make the grind much easier with their energy and creativity every day and every night. So as the marathon winds down, we say thank you to producer Kevin Shank, directors Steve Kurtenbach and Dean Andrick, our associate producers Al Broughton, who's responsible for all of the graphics, all of the numbers and the names that you see on your screen every night, associate producer Sam Abramson, our replay aficionado, and our producer of Royals Live, TJ McGinnis, who works so hard with Joel every day to give you a great pregame and postgame show every night, and the rest of our wonderful crew. And every single member makes a difference. So we thank all of you. And while we're glad to be hitting the tape after the equivalent of 26.2 miles during the baseball season, we're also looking forward to the spring next year.
Well, that's true, Ryan, and I want to thank all the guys in the truck for really making my job a lot easier this year, and you know, just from the experience standpoint, just hopefully get better every game. You know, all the critiquing and constructive criticism, all that goes a long way, and really just making you a better an analyst during the course of the season, and hopefully in the course of a long career.
Well, it's sure been a heck of a lot of fun with you again, Frank.
Well, same here. Same here.
See you quite a bit during the off season. We'll see you at the bowling tournament on Tuesday, but it's been a lot of fun in the booth. It's been a lot of fun for the Royals tonight on offense, and for the first time the Rays get a runner at the plate, and that ends the inning. The Royals add two more, and at the end of 6 leads 7-0. Final telecast tonight, but you can join us and many members of the Royals alumni, Fox Sports Kansas City, and other Kansas City sports media personalities at the KC Sports Media Challenge. And we're collecting items for the Salvation Army. Those are the items, which you can also look up at Royals.com or FoxSportsKansasCity.com. The event begins at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night. We're also collecting items for an orphanage in Haiti, and we'll get another look at those. You can find those items at FoxSportsKansasCity.com or Royals.com. The event begins at 7 o'clock at Lucky Strike in the Power and Light District. And I'd like to thank Fox Sports Kansas City for helping me promote the event this year. We're hoping for a great turnout, helping our neighbors here at home and around the world. As Willie Ibar hits it high in the air to left center field. And Alex Gordon calls off Gerard Dyson because he's bigger than Gerard. One down in the 7th inning. Speaking of bowling, here's the defending champ, the kingpin, Joe Goldberg.
I got to make sure I bring that trophy over to Lucky Strike on Tuesday because, well, I'll probably keep it anyway. But, you know, just in case somebody else wins. Did want to let you guys know that we had the final 2010 Real Royals trivia today. It was actually all Bruce Chen trivia. Some fun ones, some serious ones. Some were numbers, some were like, you know, who's his favorite teammate? That was Joaquin Soria. His favorite food is sushi, things like that. The answers didn't go so well. They didn't know it all that well, but we did have a winner. And I've got a Bruce Chen related trivia question for you guys. And there are a lot of answers, so you can just chime in and rattle them off. Bruce Chen has 12 career wins as a Kansas City Royal. Looks like it's going to be 13 soon. There are 19 lefties that have pitched for the Royals that have more career wins as a Royal. 19 lefties. See how many of them you can rattle off. I think Kevin Shank got about 15 of them.
All right, let's see how fast we can go.
And you can do it with 2 outs.
All right, before we get to your trivia question,
get the good
Joel,
one first. All right.
Let's answer the one that helps pay the bills.
Yes.
Our AT&T trivia question tonight. Who are the last 2 lefties to win at least 12 games in a season for the Royals? It was 1988, and we said think in the house. Brian Bannister's dad, Floyd, won 12, and Charlie Liebrandt won 13. All right.
Now you only have 17 left, because obviously they each have at least 12 career wins as a Royal.
All right, split.
There's 3.
Larry Gura.
4.
Jose Rosado.
5.
Darrell May.
6.
Danny Jackson.
There you go. 7.
We're getting good now.
12 to go. All generations, all eras here as well. Got some relievers in there too.
Jimmy Gobble.
Jimmy Gobble. Very good. Up to 8. Let's see. Who else can see if I can give you some hints here. Kevin can think about some hints in your ear as well if he even remembers some of them. Frank, some of them, I say Frank because you were around for this early 70s period. You were kind of coming into the picture.
A lot of people in the early 70s were there, but they weren't really there.
Right, and Frank has disappeared on us.
Ball 4 to Ben Zobrist.
I have to go to my book.
Or I could start rattling them off.
No, hang on.
Yes, one shares the name of somebody on the field tonight.
Okay, Kevin Shank gave it to me. Billy Butler.
Right, Bill Butler.
Oh, Bob McClure.
No.
He didn't win 12?
No.
Wow.
Bud Black.
Bud Black. And
Josh Fields, with that great play, makes us extend the trivia question into the next half inning.
wouldn't be one I'm Woody.
This is Cormier. Seven nothing Royals. Now to the bottom of the seventh inning. Royals have out hit the Rays 13-2. So a good night on offense and an excellent night on the mound. Bruce Chen with 7 scoreless innings. Chevy called to the bullpen, and it's Lance Cormier. He's the third Rays pitcher tonight. The Royals scored all 7 against James Shields. One of those runs was unearned. Mike Ekstrom picked him up and got the Rays through the 6th. So it's Cormier in the bottom of the 7th with Alex Gordon, Unievsky Betancourt, and Brian Pena coming up. And we go back to Joel as we try and answer our last real Royals trivia question.
Yeah, and of course, this is harder. I'm not giving you multiple choice, but I am giving you, 19 choices, or we narrowed it down to, I think we're down to like 9 left or 10 left.
And it is the 19 left-hand pitchers who have won 12 or more games for the Royals.
Let me give you this hint, that the guy that will tie, that Bruce Chen will tie tonight if he gets a win, is really known for pitching for the Oakland A's.
Vida Blue.
There you go.
Yeah,
he's got 13 career wins as a Royal.
Okay, then there was Jeremy Offelt.
Okay,
we're going to add him to the list.
I accidentally mentioned him during the commercial break, thinking you had already said him, so there's one.
I got a hint from Kevin Shank, which led me to Chris Haney.
There's 13, and Frank mentioned Atlee Hammaker. Frank and I told you same initials.
And I went with Andy Hassler after that.
There's 14.
Okay.
What about Al Raboski?
I was just about to say somebody that was oftentimes angry. There's 15. He had 17 wins and 31 saves as a Royal.
So we have 4?
I think we have 4 left.
How many in the last 15 years?
It's not really actually looking so good for you, Ryan.
Okay.
We're going to have to go back a little further. Did you say Darryl May yet?
Yes.
Yeah, so that pretty much rules out everybody. Oh, we do have one from 2001 to 2004. 14 wins.
2001 to 2004.
He has the same first name as our super fan.
Chris?
Yes.
Nice work, Frank.
And he has the same last name. He has the same last name as the first name of a guy whose number is retired here. Whoa, that doesn't make sense.
Chris George.
There you go.
Okay.
That was a real roundabout way of getting there. Sorry.
Did Brett Saberhagen win any games as a left-hander?
Well, he didn't win 13 or 1. All right, Frank, one guy.
Don Hood?
Had a big, thick, black mustache.
Jeez.
And that's not going to help. Well, one guy, 69 to 73, 28 saves and 24 wins. Nothing. Crickets. Tom
Hall?
Tom Bergmeyer.
What about Tom Bergmeyer?
There you go.
Bergie. Forgot about Bergie. Gosh.
I was going to say Steve Mangori, but...
There you go. You got Steve Mangori.
Oh, okay, got to look up.
That was the mustache.
Kevin on that one.
I had just jumped ahead to Tom Bergmeyer. I was trying to knock off the list here. What do we got, like 2 left? Maybe 1 left?
The clue for this one from Kevin Shank is a pitcher who said if such and such happened that he would walk barefoot from Pittsburgh to Cleveland.
The Crickets are sounding nice tonight. It's a beautiful night. All right, here's the list.
Jim Rooker.
Jim Rooker is the last. Splittorff, Gura, Liebrandt, Black, Jackson, Rosado, Haney, Bergmeyer, May, Gobble, Rooker, Offelt, Raboski, Bannister, Mangori, Hassler, Butler, George, and Blue. And Bruce Chen in a tie right now with Brian Anderson and Glendon Rush. But perhaps moving ahead of them.
Thank you, Joel.
That is the final Real Royals trivia. Hey, by the way, I stumped somebody tonight asking Panamanian-born closers with a save this year, and their choices, which one was not a Panamanian, or which one did not have a save. The choices were Bruce Chen, who of course had that one save this year. Manny Corpus, who's from Panama, had saves. That guy Mariano Rivera, and the fourth choice was Carlos Lee. The guy got it wrong.
Who'd he take?
He took maybe he took Manny Corpus. I hope Well, he didn't take Chen, and he didn't take Mariano. I don't think El Caballo had a save this year.
I don't think so.
I was trying to make it easy, try to give away some good prizes, but that's okay. We had a good time. That's it for Real Royals Trivia, and we'll bring it back next year.
Thanks, Joel. Gerard Dyson with 2 more hits tonight, another triple, and 2 runs scored, facing Lance Cormier, who is from Lafayette, Louisiana. That's the same hometown as Gilmesh. They went to rival high schools and then played together during the summers on an American Legion team. Lays off the curveball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Betancourt at first with 2 down.
We take a look at Fox Tracks, and then I tell you,
that's a strike.
When you catch it, it's not a strike, but with that grid being in front of home plate, they're saying it's a strike when it passes his knees.
That's a strike, and the inning is over. Name the 15. Update, and it's down to what's going on in the National League West, the National League Wild Card, and the American League East. Philadelphia is in front of Atlanta. Philadelphia's won the division. Braves leading the Padres by 2. The Padres need to sweep the Giants, and that series is just getting underway in San Francisco. Kelly Shopik jumps on the first pitch, and it's Gordon and Dyson in left center field. Alex Gordon makes the catch, and with that out, that is a season high 7 1/3 innings for Bruce Chen this year.
Bruce is really standing together. This is lower arm angle, ball on the outer half, and got pulled back in the left center field. But he's done a good job, Ryan, at hitting the spots tonight. He's out of the middle of the plate, on the corners, and just recording some quick outs tonight.
And he throws a strike to Sean Rodriguez. Bruce is in excellent shape. As far as pitch count goes, he is at 89 pitches with 1 out in the 8th inning. 1-1 on Rodriguez, who has one of the 2 hits for the Rays tonight, and one of those hits was a bunt single. That was Rodriguez in the 3rd. B.J. Upton hit a double in the 6th. And that's it. Bruce has walked 2. So the Rays have a total of 4 base runners in 7 1/3 innings. Grounded right to Aviles. 2 down in the 8th inning. So it has been a breeze for Bruce Chen so far. And the most pitches he has had in an inning is 16, and that was way back in the 2nd inning. So he has picked up where he left off on Sunday in Cleveland when he pitched 6 2/3 scoreless innings.
Well, what he does really well, Ryan, is he just changed speeds on his fastball. I mean, and he throws it from the different arm slots, and his curveball is much better when he sweeps across the left-handers, and he's just gotten better and better as the years gone along.
And now Upton pops it up. Billy goes into foul ground, but Aviles makes the catch in fair ground. 6 pitches is all Bruce Chen needs to get through the 8th. Nothing lead to the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's take a look at tonight's in-game box score presented by Mass Mutual. The Royals with 7 runs on 13 hits. Gregor Blanco has 3 of those hits. He's driven in 3 of the runs. Billy Butler has scored twice. Gerard Dyson has scored twice. Changes for the Rays. Desmond Jennings takes over in right field for Rocco Baldelli. And the Rays make another pitching change, their 3rd in the last 3 innings. And it's right-hander Dan Wheeler. Royals with 1 in the 1st, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, and 2 in the 6th. All those charged to James Shields. So Gregor Blanco with a 3-hit game, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And a strike from Wheeler. Blanco had been out of the lineup for several games and was put back in there last night and opened the game with a base hit, came around to score. Tonight opened the game with a base hit and came around to score. Out in a ground ball to second base, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. And let's go back to Joel.
Well, guys, final Boulevard Royals Live of the year coming up, and it looks like we're going to have a lot of nice things to talk about. hopefully we'll hear from Bruce Chen at the end of this game as he goes deep into the game. We will talk about his performance in his final outing of the year. We'll also talk about the night of the speedsters. Gregor Blanco, Gerard Dyson involved again. We'll talk about that here from Ned Yost, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Been a lot of fun, guys, and appreciate all the help that both of you done on Boulevard Royals Live, as well as Hy-Vee Royals Live, and of course all the crew and the guys as well. As always, a lot of fun.
Right back at you, Joel.
Thank you, Joel.
You know, friends, neighbors, fans, they at times will ask how difficult it is to broadcast a game day after day after day, and how difficult it can be when a team is having a disappointing season. But I always say that our job isn't as difficult as Joel and TJ, how difficult their job can be, because we have the game to react to. What we're reporting on is out there, and we just react to it. And it's Joel and TJ who have to come up with new and fresh ideas every day before every game. And Boulevard Royals Live has been a very popular finish to the game every year, with Joel getting interviews live on the field after the game, and then the great analysis from you and from Split and from Monty.
Well, I agree with you, Ryan. It's been fun just getting the variety, you know, doing the pregame, doing the postgame, and also working games with you. It's just been a great honor to get this experience, and I look forward to doing it again next year.
And the two final thoughts on that, guys. Actually, there are no more thoughts. That's it. The final two-out story of the year. Ryan?
Joel, name the 19 top thoughts you have when we come back. Well, Bruce Chen saving the best for last and going for his first major league shutout. He has only thrown 94 pitches. He'll get Jason Bartlett, Carl Crawford, and Willie Ibar. And it's Billy Butler into foul ground, and Bruce is 2 outs away from his first big league shutout. Take a look at tonight's Chevrolet plays of the game.
Well, we get a good look at Gerard Dyson here, Ryan. It's just a good look at that speed that he has rounding those bases once the ball goes to the wall. Easy triple for him. Blanco down the right field line. Shows his speed and getting a triple also. So 2 triples are fun to watch. The Royals fans get a real good idea of what speed does to a game and how speed can change a game. So just seeing those 2 guys right there gives him a lot to look forward to going into spring training. When you take a look at this, is Bruce's lower arm slot, sweeping curveball. No chance on that swing.
Into the right field corner, hooking, and it is foul, and it's no balls and 2 strikes on Carl Crawford. So Bruce Chen, who joined the Royals last year, and it was his 10th major league team. He has pitched for the Braves, the Phillies, the Mets, the Expos, the Reds, the Astros, the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Rangers, and now the Royals. And after all that, has never pitched a major league shutout. Still 0-2 on Crawford. He is going for his 12th win tonight, which would be his second highest season total. He won 13 for the Orioles back in 2005. And he's had many stops and starts in his career. Before winning those 13 games, he had only appeared in 24 games in the 2 years prior to that with 3 different teams. Crawford almost hit by the curveball. And then Bruce had Tommy John surgery, which wiped out his entire 2008 season. His ERA with the Royals last year was 5.78. Crawford pops it up. And Betancourt brings it down 2 away. So Bruce Chen's career was hanging by a thread. And the Royals signed him to a minor league contract during the offseason. So he wasn't even on the 40-man roster. He started the season in AAA Omaha. Called up to the Royals to help out in the bullpen. And then on May the 30th, ended up in the Royals starting rotation. And he ends up making 23 starts in a row. And he'll lead the team in wins.
That is totally unbelievable, Ryan. But I tell you what, it gives you an idea of where Bruce Chen is and what he's all about and how he really persevered through his surgery. And one indication maybe he's just completely healthy again. But he came up with an angle and he stayed with it and he worked for him. Changing arm slots, throwing different pitches out of his arm slot, adding and subtracting on his fastball, and just doing a good job of keeping the hitters off balance.
Line to left field. And Bruce Chen has his first major league shutout. His first major league start was 12 years ago. Now 281 starts later, he has his first major league shutout. So there is the Royals' feel-good story of the year. So an all-around great game for the Royals. They beat Tampa Bay, who is tied for the best record in the American League. They come up with 7 runs with the story of the night, Bruce Chen, and he's down in the field with Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. As Bruce Chen is going to get some final congratulations from the bullpen. And Ryan just calling it the feel-good story of the year, Bruce Chen's season. First, you've been at this a long time, Bruce, first complete game shutout in your career. We'll let the crowd give you the ovation for that, but first off, what does this mean to you tonight to end the season with a complete game shutout?
It means a lot to me. The fans have been great the whole season, and I started in the minor leagues, but then I worked my way up to the bullpen, the big leagues, and then they gave me an opportunity, and to finish like this at home, and before fireworks is great.
Before fireworks, they'll hold the fireworks for you for just a moment here. You've said you never thought that you would have this many wins this year, starting the year in AAA. What was reasonable for you this year? What did you think could happen?
Well, I think said like any goals about winning, like how many games I was going to win. All I did was, I want to be a significant part of our team and help this team win too.
There it is, courtesy of Jesse Chavez. He didn't get him too bad. He used gel. Who uses gel? You're supposed to use shaving cream. All right, now you got gum that tastes like shaving cream. Let's see if you can function with this. How are you able to do it tonight? I mean, that's a team that's going to the playoffs that might win the American League East. What was the key?
Well, they're a very good team, and Brian did a great job. We had a game plan, we stuck to it, and like when I'm pitching to Brian, it's like we're having a chess match. He's telling me which angle, up, down, stay away, and that last hitter, Crawford, he said, you know what, don't come in, this guy. Let's try to stay away. So Brian did a great job. Filsey did a great play, and the offense scored 7 runs for me, so that was huge. All
right, 2 final things. First off, overall, not just tonight, what did this season mean to you, having battled back from Tommy John surgery?
It means a lot to me. I mean, I've been through a lot, and for me to come back and have 12 wins and help this team win, it means the world. I mean, I worked really hard for me to get to this point, and I'm going to continue working hard so I can have another season like this.
You have a signature phrase. It's 2 words. We heard it all spring training and all year long. What is that?
Believe it.
Yes, believe it. Let's bring in Brian Pena. Bruce, congratulations. Great season.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, and they've got the Bruce. Bruce Chen is one of the favorites here in Kansas City this year. This guy is another favorite because always a smile on his face. And I know how much the success of your pitchers means to you. How about tonight in Bruce Chen?
He was unbelievable. I mean, for the entire season, he has been great for us. And, every time that he goes in the mound, we know he's going to give us, more than 100%. And tonight, it was great for him because this victory means a lot to him and his family. And I'm very proud to call him, one of my best friends and the greatest teammate ever.
And he's able to do it with, he's not out there dominating like some of the big names out there, but yet he's fooling him, he's mixing it up. What's the biggest key for him?
That's the art of pitching, Bruce Chen. He's a guy who's mixing a lot. He's a guy who's pitching down, and he's not afraid. Everybody knows that Tampa Bay, they got a great team, and Bruce, he wasn't intimidated. So he came here and performed for these fans, these beautiful fans. They always support us, and it's amazing.
All right, final things. We've got fireworks coming up. Final telecast for us of the year. So your last chance to talk to, as you just said, the beautiful fans, and I know how much you appreciate what they've done for you guys.
I love my family, I love the Royals, and I love the fans.
Great job, BP.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that is Brian Pena and Bruce Chen. What a night for the Royals and for Bruce. Ryan, let's go back upstairs to you.
All right, thank you, Joel. Good to hear from Bruce, and good to hear from Brian Pena. So Bruce Chen, his first Major League shutout, and he holds the Tampa Bay Rays to 2 hits in 9 innings. We'll be right back.